Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Now in Massachusetts, you can get your standard driver's license regardless of immigration status. Gather all required documents: proof of identity and date of birth, proof of Massachusetts residency, and proof of Social Security status. Next, register at mass.gov/myrmv for your learner's permit. When you pass, schedule your road test at mass.gov/myrmv and prepare at mass.gov/road test. Register today.
Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Thursday, June. For the past 2 days, I've been locked up in June. It is July 20th, 2023. And Chief Idowu, don't be in the background laughing at me. I used to mess up with the date, and I've been going about 3 months strong. And then all of a sudden yesterday, I'm taking us back to June. But we are going to jump right in. I am honored to have someone who is not a stranger to the Java Cafe. I consider him a charter member, early supporter when he was at BECMA, still supporting while he is at the city as well. And we are going to chat with Chief Idowu today, Segun Idowu, who is the chief of the Office of Economic Opportunity and Inclusion. I think I got it right. I did get it right. He's shaking his head in the background. So we're going to jump right in and welcome in my good friend and brother, who also happens to be a former tenor. But we'll talk about that later, because I'm sure you and John Matthew Borders are going to be a little upset with me on July 30th. But yeah,
okay.
Oh yeah, we need some help in the tennis section.
Sounds good.
Good morning. Good morning, Chief Idowu. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I always check in. You are very busy. You're moving in a space that improves the quality of life through a lens of equity, in a system and structure that, though this administration is open to, can be quite interesting. You are also a Black man and aware of a lot of things that's going on in our community the past few days. So I have to start in asking, how are you as Segun? With all due respect to the chief, how are you as Segun?
Just peachy.
You're not going to do me this morning.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. However, this is the best job I've ever had. So I grateful. How am I doing? I'm grateful. Every single morning, I'm plopped in front of this computer, answering emails or on meetings or in the office. And at the end of the day, we have solved a problem, not all of them, but a problem, either for someone or the whole city. And what else could I ask for? So I'm great.
And it is Thankful Thursday, and so that is most apropos to talk about thankfulness this morning. And so some folks are in the room. Conan Harris says hello. Got our guy in the building, and others. I know you know Sharon Cornelius. If you don't, you will get to know her. We do need some help in the tennis section, but. With that being said, we're talking about the tennis section because one of the activities that you and the mayor's office, Matt Borders, and others are planning is the Gospel Fest. But let's sort of set some context. The NAACP convention is coming to the city of Boston this year. They were supposed to come, I believe, in 2020. The pandemic hit, and so now we're back in 2023. Where are we with the convention? I know this is a collaboration between the local office, the national office. The mayor is a sponsor here in the city. What's going on with the convention? And we'll get into some of the wonderful events and activities that you guys have planned, not only for delegates, but also natives here in Boston as well.
Well, I mean, I know that there's probably no one in the city that doesn't know about the convention now. Surely folks have been inundated with the information about what's coming up. But for the very, very few people who don't know what's going on.
Because, yeah, some of our wonderful social media posts. But go ahead, sir.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm happy to address those too. But so the NAACP, the largest, oldest civil rights organization in the country, which got us things like the Civil Rights Act of '64 and the Voting Rights Act of '65 and Brown versus Board of Education. And we can go on right down the list to present day what the organization has done on behalf and for people of color, not just Black people, but it's really benefited everyone in the country. They're coming here to Boston for the first time since 1982. And the exciting piece about it, first of all, they're going to bring, between 5 and 7,000 of their members from across the country here to the city. There's estimated economic impact of millions and millions of dollars that this convention will have on the city. But beyond that, I think this is important for two reasons. One is in 1982, when the convention was here, very, very terrible moment for the city
Yeah.
in terms of relations between Black and white communities. I remember seeing some articles from that time, and Joe Feaster, who's a former president of the branch, has been sharing some of the history since he was the president of the branch at the time they came here. Beatings in Charlestown and a lot of the other racial animosity happening at the time. So that's what the convention came here experiencing in the midst of, following busing. But what we're excited about is that today, with this administration, but even really with a lot of folks like yourself and others who have been advocating and fighting for and producing, change and progress in the city, that we have something better to show this organization 40 years later. A city that is 53% people of color. They're going to a neighborhood that was created as a lily white community, and now there are so many more Black businesses and people who are in that area taking up space, and making sure that the city understands that there are no neighborhoods that are just for Black people or brown people, but that the whole city belongs to every resident here in the city. And so it's just a really exciting time, and we're just happy to be able to hang out with folks from across the country, enjoy some sunshine, get inspired by really great panels and discussion, and then lots of time to party as well.
That's interesting that you thought about that. I had the honor of welcoming Corrine Reynolds. She was at WGBH yesterday, and we were talking about healing. And she asked a question about healing in the context of nightlife. And so when you just mentioned that, we can't have this convention without talking about some of the barriers and the things that fight the advancement of colored people. And so coming after the panels, after the workshops, being able to come together in spaces and fellowship, break bread, celebrate our culture and food and things like that is definitely a part of healing. You referred back to 1982. There has been some, but we're still on this healing journey when it comes to race here in this city. And I believe the NAACP convention coming here is that opportune time to display that there has been improvement. And let's just go ahead and be real. Some of that improvement, the density of it, has been in the last couple of years, thanks to your work, not only moving in events and activities and grants and whatnot, but also equity in economics. You said you wouldn't mind addressing a little bit of the social media. There is a little buzz, and not just with this, but I know you remember around Embrace. There is a part of the community often that may feel a little left out. Their algorithms are not set up where they see the flyers coming out. We say, oh, it's been on Facebook, we've seen it and whatnot, but some folks' algorithms just don't. And so there has been a little chatter about Gospel Fest and awareness of activities. And you said you wouldn't mind addressing that. Can you just share the intent of the office to try to get information out? But reality is sometimes, and I'll say we all can do better with outreach.
Oh yeah. I mean, when I even first started here about, last January of 22, and there were programs we were trying to get out there and promote, sometimes it fell flat. And I've always, mentioned that, like, even before I came into this role, government is not that great at getting the word out. But that's not the case in for this particular instance. So, at the end of the day, we're following the lead. Like, this is not the city of Boston's convention, right?
Yes.
We are very, very proud to host the national team that's coming here, and we're following the lead. And so, all as you've seen, all the information around the convention has come out in the last couple of weeks to generate excitement as we get closer to the date. And so, because Gospel Fest, and I'll start here before I even say Gospel Fest. When I came in January of 22, literally on my first day, January 3rd, on my desk was a red binder. And it was a red binder that had the name, the Boston, the Greater Boston Convention and Visitors Bureau, which is now known as Meet Boston. And it was the packet that was developed in 2019 when the convention was going to come here in 2020. And the reason it was put on my desk by Lori Nelson,
Shout out to Sister Lori,
right, who's senior advisor to the mayor here, was because she understood and, drafted me into making sure that the administration paid attention to and became a partner on the convention way in advance, because everyone knew that it was coming this year in July of 23. And so since then, have been thinking of different ways to help make it successful, to partner, etc. So
support.
Right. And so what we've done is, I've been to several conventions, and it's not always the reality that all of the Black residents of a particular city that they're in are also engaged or involved in a huge way, right? I mean, because conventions go around to how many conventions do you know about that have come to the city of Boston this year? There have been so many. But at the end of the day, they're focused on the folks that paid the tickets to go there. And
yes, and that is part of it. Let's keep that real. Absolutely. Yep.
And so for us, it was really important. We understand as a city, capital C organization, the importance and relevance of this convention coming here. What we did not want to have happen is that small C city, everybody that lives here knows about it, but is not directly involved. And Shirley Young had a great article about this last week, where she talked about this convention is for everybody here in the city. It's not this thing that's happening over there that you'll hear about. It's an opportunity for you to participate and to gather with the delegates. So long story short, and you'll see on our website, it's boston.gov/NAACP/-convention.
Can you type that in the private chat and I'll copy
it?
Yeah.
But we are showcasing all of the events that are happening, and not just things that the city is putting on, not just things that the local branch is putting on. And I'm sure Tanisha or someone from the branch will come on to share more about what the local branch is doing, because even tonight they have their prayer service at St. John's Missionary Baptist Church. We are showcasing events that are just naturally happening during that week. So you got this coming Saturday, July 22nd, Sheena Collier, Boston While Black, hosting their family reunion over in the Seaport Lawn on D. Going to bring out thousands and thousands of people. And this is one opportunity to get engaged with other Black residents, connect, experience joy, etc. Then you've got Black Owned Boss having their weekly series over in the Seaport, their market showcasing Black businesses. Then you've got Taste of Ethnic Boston that Colette has via Get Connected, happening on the 25th. So that there's all these other great events that are happening. Then you have how the city has worked to put things together that are going to bring people together. So we're partnering with the National NAACP for next Friday for their opening block party over at the Convention Center, bringing DJ Jazzy Jeff. That Saturday, we have our delegates reception hosted by the mayor, where we're going to bring thousands and thousands of people together at the Westin Hotel. And then what we wanted to make sure to have happen was every year for the last 22 years, the city has put on Gospel Fest. It's usually been in Franklin Park, on City Hall Plaza. But we were like, we know that there's a gospel component with the convention. It makes the most sense to move the date up, because Gospel Fest is usually in mid or late August, to move it up and have it at the same time. And this will be an opportunity to bring delegates, all the 5,000 to 7,000 delegates from the convention, Boston residents, the thousands that come out for Gospel Fest, to bring them together in a worship experience. Because for us, it's just really important that everyone is getting connected, that, sharing that experience and building relationships. So all that said, because Gospel Fest and all these other events are tied to the convention, we followed the lead. We wanted to promote at the same time rather than get out ahead. And so at the end of the day, yes, we are always, I'll just say, I'm always happy to admit when we drop the ball, or if we don't do things in the way that people anticipated or expected. However, I'm happy to go into even more detail after the convention. But for now, our goal is to promote all the things that are happening. We'll see you there. Happy to,
Yes, I registered for all. I
Right.
registered for all 3 events. So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about these. There are 4 signature events that the city is sponsoring in collaboration. There is the Cultural Nights Music Fest that is on the 28th, 65 Northern Ave. Where that's the address, but what's the venue?
Yeah, it's over in the Seaport.
At the Seaport. Okay.
Yeah. And so all these events are going to be in the Seaport. So this is going to be a huge, huge week of getting as many Black and Brown people as possible in a neighborhood, as I said in the beginning, that when it was created, it was not intentional, or people were not intentional about making sure that it reflected the diversity of the city.
Let me ask you to park right there for a second, because I
Yeah.
often ask, there is that balance between limited opportunity and access. But when folks like yourself and others are working to allow access, where is that balance between our response? Because there's been a little chatter. Oh, why is it at the Seaport? And, where is the balance of us stepping into spaces when often we got to go in and wedge the door open? What is our responsibility as individuals, as Black Boston, to participate in these spaces that are being created for the convention?
Okay. I thought the question was going to go a different way. I mean,
You can
I'll
go
say
whatever
that.
you want.
Well, I'll just say that, I don't believe in segregation, and I'm not going to let anyone tell me where I'm supposed to go as a Black person in the city, right?
Yep.
And so, if I want to have my event in the Seaport or Charlestown or South Boston or JP or wherever, I'm going to do it because maybe the event, the location lends itself to having that event be successful, and I certainly wouldn't let someone in these neighborhoods tell me that I can't go there. So I'm not sure why we would accept that, others can tell us where we can't go, simply because of what the population looks like in that neighborhood. I mean, at the end of the day, we have to take up space, and our neighborhoods are thriving because we have been supporting. And at the same time, like I said, the whole city belongs to us.
That's
It
right.
is, the largest amount of our population may reside in certain neighborhoods of the city, but that does not dictate where we get to go to not only experience joy, but bring joy and bring, be our full selves. We should be able to be ourselves wherever we are in the city. And so, why is it in the Seaport? Because the Seaport is a neighborhood of the city of Boston. And this is the neighborhood that could support these large scale
The
events.
infrastructure is there. The
Yeah.
convention center's right there. A
Right.
density of hotels, and it
Yeah.
just it and let's be real, as you said, in its design, it wasn't. But we have people like Nia. We have other
Mhm.
organizations, and the pop up that you mentioned that's down there. Sheena curated spaces at ICA for Boston While Black, Thaddeus for Black Joy, and we're going back this
Mhm.
September. And so, thank you for that balance, because it is real to be aware and know that spaces weren't welcome to you in the origin, but that does not mean that we don't go in and take over. In the words of our brother, and I know you know who this is, we belong everywhere. Who is that? Chief of the Room? Who was that?
Is that person watching?
They were on a few minutes ago. I don't know if they're still watching, but their initials are CH.
Is that our brother Harris?
Yes, we belong everywhere. But I mean, it is absolutely true. And so
Yeah.
I know your time is limited. You have stuff to do. So let's go into just a little descript about these activities. So Thriving Together, Cultural Nights, Music Festivals. Is this the one you referred to, that DJ Jazzy Jeff?
No, so this is
Okay.
actually being hosted earlier in the day by Danny Rivera.
Okay.
So his the Artist Initiative for Revolution Air Boston is his organization.
Yep.
Our office and the Office of Equity via Lori Nelson are sponsoring this event. And Danny is a huge artist here in the city, and this is what he's been doing. So he did one in Mattapan. There are others that are on the agenda for the year. This one just happens to be in the Seaport during this week, but it's an initiative to highlight other artists and entertainers in the city. So we wanted to make sure we're supporting that. And then later on in the day, on that same day, the 28th, Jazzy Jeff will be over at the Hub at the convention center. And it's,
Can you explain a little bit of what the Hub is? I had an opportunity to talk to President Sullivan a couple of seconds, but the Hub is sort of that. I believe the intentionality is sort of that non-delegate, just chill spot, open space that any and everybody
that's right.
is welcome to chill.
That's right. And, again, it's the national NAACP being intentional about creating spaces for people to just be themselves, to not face a barrier of any cost, but it's free. And you can go in and be with others. And the goal is for us at the city, for national NAACP, is to make sure that people who don't know each other walk away with a boatload of new folks in their network who are not from Boston. Because the other thing is that our lives are more enriched when we are drawing on the experiences of others in different places, right?
Absolutely.
And so, we're really excited about that opportunity.
Absolutely. Let's also talk about. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was also going to move into the delegate reception that the
Yes.
mayor is hosting the next day on the 29th, 7 to 11. And we just want to emphasize these are free and open to the public, but there are two words there that I don't want folks to come back in a couple of weeks and say, hey, y'all, there are two words there that say with registration.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's mostly for helping us with
numbers and planning.
Right. Exactly. Right. And so there's an update, and I'll share the new image for this. So we're shifting the time 8 to midnight now, because as you may have read or seen, Vice President Harris will be in town for the convention. She'll be speaking earlier in the day, and we have shifted the time back an hour to accommodate the fact that we know that everyone, including us, are going to want to be in the convention center to hear the Vice President's remarks. And then the after party, essentially, one of them at least, will now be at the Westin Hotel.
Okay.
We just awarded a contract to Rosemart Production, Black woman-owned company, who'll be helping to put that event together. So we'll send you the updated graphic for that.
Absolutely. And then certainly,
yes,
last but not least, certainly not least, is the Gospel Fest. And I'm excited to see this. As you mentioned, City Hall was being upgraded. I've talked to Amy before, and this year it was the comeback, to the hall, but the hall's not set up like that anymore, but also in collaboration with the convention. Gospel Fest, we got good Fred Hammond coming, Kiki Sheard, and then Major, not necessarily from Boston, but spent a lot of time. I remember Major back in the day. He was a Watch Care member at New Life with Bishop Bragg. Tell us about the Gospel Fest.
Yeah, I mean, this has been happening for 22 years, and it's been an opportunity for the faith community in the city to come together, to bless the city, to blanket the city with prayer, and to worship together. And there have been a number of different nationally recognized artists that have come and performed. And this year we wanted to make sure to go really big because of the fact that the convention is here, and we're going to be in a different space, and have to thank Live Nation and Leader Bank Pavilion for providing this space and making it available for this evening. But we invite folks to come out. The doors are going to open at 3:00 to let folks come in and get situated. There's going to be
this one is I had to explain to some folks last night. Gospel Fest has never had a registration. You all didn't want to impose that,
right?
And so the balance is with the convention. You all heard Chief Idowu said there's about 5,000 to 7,000 people converging upon Boston.
Yeah,
they're going to hear about the concert. This is why you're opening the doors at 3:00.
Yes.
Okay.
Give folks time to come in and get situated. There's going to be an interfaith service right before 5:00, between 4 and 5. Again, like I said, blanketing the city in prayer. And then the show will start at 5:00, and there'll be remarks, of course, by the mayor and a few others. But we know we're all there for the top talent that's here, but also the City of Boston's gospel choir, which will be led by yours truly.
Pray for us.
Yeah. Well, I'll start drinking some tea now to relax my
Yes,
voice.
so you can be ready.
Yeah.
And I have to get out some communication about rehearsal.
And let me just say too, I really do encourage folks to either visit the website I shared earlier, boston.gov/NAACP-convention, or to visit the NAACP Boston's website. I believe it's bostonnAACP.com, or I can't, but I'm
Okay.
sure that will be shared. But on our website, we'll be updating, at least for Gospel Fest, transportation arrangements. So we are encouraging folks to, if they can, to take public transportation, but if they're parking, we are solidifying discounted rates in the area, because we know that it can be expensive. We don't want that to be a barrier.
Okay.
And we are working with churches to provide shuttles as well. And we'll be bringing in seniors via shuttles as well.
That is awesome to hear, because a couple of folks in rehearsal the other night were asking about parking and things like that. And so once that's detailed, please get the info to me, and I'll make sure I get it out, not only to choir members, but also to the public as well. Is there anything that we miss, Chief Idowu? I know you talked about the importance of the economic impact. Let me just ask, because I know some folks are wondering, and you have no problem answering questions. What is the assurity that that economic impact is trickling in beyond the seaport?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, Black businesses are participating in the convention, and so there'll be opportunities to support them in the area. But one thing I have stressed to folks too, so let me just start off by saying, very excited that the convention is coming. However, this is not the only major event that's coming to the city. And we really do. So, like, you mentioned John Borders. So John Borders is the director of tourism, sports, and entertainment. He's been in this role for almost 6 months now. And one of the things I said to him, it was I didn't interview anybody. We had a whole group that interviewed people, and when he came to the top two, and I chatted with both of the candidates and said, my one thing for whoever gets this position is, your job is to go get the things that we want to see here in the city. And so his mandate is to go get the events that we usually might travel to go see. Someone on our team went to go to New York for Curl Fest in New York City last week. Okay, let's bring Curl Fest to Boston. Roots Picnic. I know Philly, whatever, but let's get them to come here, right? Let's create our own South by
Hold on. Is this the first time you mentioned publicly that you're going to try to get a Roots type picnic in Boston?
Well, listen, I want all the things, mostly because I don't have enough money for the plane ticket. So bring it all here in Boston, because I'm lazy. So I want to be able to. But it's like, that's what we ought to be doing, right? And the mayor has said a lot. The governor has said a lot. Like, we cannot rest on our laurels. We can't be a city or a state that just waits for things to come. We have to go make the world that we want to see. So I say all that to say, if there are things that you want to see come to the city, please let us know, because when we're operating in that framework and in that capacity, then we have the opportunity to say, okay, if we're going to bring Roots Picnic here, let's make sure, a year from now, Franklin Park is in a particular condition where we can do whatever. Let's get businesses involved in this way, all these kinds of things, right? Rather than waiting for someone to decide to come here and then trying to scramble to figure things out. So we want to be proactive. But to your question, at the end of the day, like I said, the local branch of the NAACP and national have and Meet Boston. I got to shout out Helena Ajakaye over at Meet Boston, and of course Martha and Kate and the team have done a good job of making sure that there'll be business participation. But that's not just for the convention. All the events on our website, whether it's Taste of Ethnic Boston, which are going to be Black and brown eateries from across the city that are going to be participating, Black Owned Boss on Sunday with their marketplace, and other opportunities to support Black and brown. So that was the very long politician way of saying there are multiple opportunities to make sure that money is funneling back to our community.
Absolutely. Chief, I thank you. We're a little bit, couple of seconds over time, but I thank you for this opportunity to be able to speak with you. The team is in the process of trying to get our national president and local president as well to come and talk, but I really wanted to offer the time for you to talk about this and get this information out. Folks, don't forget, there are quite a few activities planned leading up to the convention. The first one being and shout out to Brother Danny, because he was also part of the reinvigoration of the gospel choir last year. And so I've been kind of bugging him a little bit too about, we'll probably pull him up as a sponsor. You know, I got 3 powerful tenors that are going to be ready at the Gospel Fest.
I'm more a baritone, so, but you know, fine. I'll do the tenor thing.
You can hit that note.
Right.
You remember "Oh Lord, We Praise You" by Hezekiah Walker?
I do. Yeah.
Where they modulate 6 times. Be ready, sir. So NAACP Thriving Together 114th NAACP National Convention, cultural nights taking place on July 28th, 6 to 9, and that is going to be again at the 65 Northern is where?
It's in the Seaport.
It's in the Seaport.
It's near the convention center.
And then also later that evening, the 28th, that time, is this the one where the time has changed or the next one?
The next one, the
delegate 7 to 11. This is the hub. Remember, the hub is open to everybody, even if you're not a member. This one is the follow-up after our Vice President Kamala Harris speaks. The time changes from 8 to 12, and that is going to be at the W Hotel. We'll have more information out about that. And on Sunday, the Gospel Fest with Fred Hammond, Kiara Shared, and Major hosting, and the mayor's gospel choir will be a part of that as well. Though the time has passed, I'm going to see if I can send Coletta an email. Taste of Boston is also taking place. Taste of Ethnic Boston is taking place on July 25th from 5:30 to 8 at Studio B at Big Night Live. Shout out to Ed and all of them over there. For more information about all things convention, you can go to www.boston.gov/NAACP-convention to get all the information. Chief, I appreciate you. And I will see you at choir rehearsal. No, I will see you soon, sir. And thank you. And keep us abreast of anything we need to get out to the community.
Will do. And send me the dates for a rehearsal.
I
definitely will. Okay.
Thank you very much. We got you saying that live here. It's recorded.
I didn't say I was singing. I just said send me the dates.
I think some of your staff is coming. Chief Pierre signed up as an alto.
Yeah.
Karine told me to get her the information. I think she's a soprano. And then we have a tenor. We're going to come up with a trio for City of Boston employees.
John will do a great job. All right. I'll see you later.
All right. Love you, bro. Appreciate you, man. Folks, that was our Chief Idowu from the City of Boston, letting us know about everything that's going on with the NAACP convention that is coming next week. So please go to the website to find out more information and be a part of that. For those of you that are still here, do you plan on attending the convention? Please put your comments in the comments just to get an idea. Are you participating? Also, we wanted to let you know, and the chief and John Borders may get me for this. I believe we're going to have to cancel rehearsal this evening. One of our musicians that is doing most of the teaching isn't able to make it. And I'm not going to come out and try to fake the funk and teach the parts. I can direct, but my ear isn't as skilled as some of these musicians. So I will let you all know. The next rehearsal is scheduled maybe for Tuesday, but we're going to email folks, but I'm letting folks know now we probably will not have rehearsal this evening. And Rob, I'm not messing with you. We can have a beatbox. Rob, if you come to rehearsal, we will give you a mic to beatbox during the performance. How about that? Since you got jokes. But folks, please, Chief Idowu talked about the fact that we belong everywhere, in the words of our Conan Harris. So please make sure that you plan to participate. Leslie's going to get me. Leslie, I don't want to waste you guys' time. And Brother Sam isn't able to make it this evening. And so communication is going out about rehearsal. But Leslie, please help me get the word out that there is no rehearsal this evening. If you do want to go out and participate, there is the prayer service that's taking place at St. John's Missionary Baptist Church in Roxbury. And so if you do want to go out and sort of get that sense of fellowship, please go out and be a part of that as well. Sharon said, I can go. Sharon missed rehearsal the other night. Hi, Sharon. I love you. No, but also please keep August 25th, I believe, in mind. Frida Battle and the Temple Worshipers are having a reunion. And so please keep that in mind as well. We will get folks updated information about rehearsal. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. Thank everybody. Let me deviate for a minute. Thank everyone that tuned in yesterday, that watched WGBH. It was our second show there. It was an awesome time where we talked about healing. Thank you to my guests, Romilda Pereira and also Daniel Strongwalker Thomas. We're glad that Kareen Reynolds was in the building. The Boston Real Media was in the building. The Davis System was in the building. We had a young lady come in and ask a question of Romilda about getting involved with community work and how do you promote change. Black Brown Boston was in the building yesterday. And so I'm honored for those that came and supported, those that watched, those that shared. Thank you so much. Our next show at WGBH will take place on Wednesday, August 30th. And so please keep that date open. And August is Black Business Month. And so we're going to talk about that in August and actually have some Black-owned businesses there. So we really appreciate all the support from yesterday. Leslie is going to St. John's. Teresa, Miss T, thank you so much. Rob said you were doing an amazing. Oh, Rob, thank you. I appreciate you, brother. You don't give me them compliments that often, so I'll take them. Usually cracking jokes, but I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. And Pastor Marion, thank you. They were both definitely great, and we got a lot of good feedback. There were people in the news cafe there at the Boston Public Library that were just sitting and stunned at the content and topic from which we were talking. So thank all of you for the support. Nikki, I love you. And Evelyn Brito is in the room. We went from Evelyn, hey, don't say too much, to now celebrating. Evelyn, thank you for the wonderful introduction yesterday. And thank you for being the visionary and inviting this concept and idea to WGBH. She is the one that hit me up and said, hey, Jimmy, we're doing some stuff here at GBH. You want to be a part of it? So Evelyn, I appreciate you, and Annie and everybody else, and Eddie and Chris, Allison, Hannah and Steve and Howard. And I think I got everybody. Tim, I think I got everybody. So yes, thank you. Danella. Hey, y'all. Danella Clark is in the room. I am so honored. Teresa, you did not say Jimmy Kimmel, who that? Java with Jimmy. That's what that is. Danella, it is so good to see you in the room. Thank you for all you do in community and supporting our young people in the arts and just everything. Danella and I go back some years. Danella, myself, Michelle Calderer, and Sheriff Steve Tompkins all used to work at Demick Community Health Center under Jackie Jenkins Scott. A lot of us got our start with Jackie. And so, Danella, it's good to see you in the room this morning. Hope to see you here more often. All right, everyone, I'm going to get ready to wrap up. We will see. Today's Thursday. Today is my Friday. So we will see you on Monday at 9 a.m. here for Mental Health Mondays. All right. Thank you all. So Rachel is in the room. Hey, Keys. Good to see you in the room. You all keep Rachel and others that work in the State House in prayer. I understand there was a fire, I believe, yesterday or the day before. Rachel was cool. But, you know, when I kind of put it together that she works at the state, I was like, wait, are you okay? So keep all those folks in prayer. We're glad that they're safe. And Teresa's saying her mom worked at, I might know your mother, Teresa, believe it or not, depending on the years that she worked there. And don't worry, a majority of the songs I know and learn easily. Oh, that's why we pick those songs. All right, folks, I'm getting off of here before we're here another 20 minutes. We will see you on Monday at 9 a.m. Have a great day, everybody. And I appreciate you all so much. Peace. All right.